Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I have with me today a very special guest. This is Andres. Andres is not a YouTuber, but I found or came to know of Andres actually on Sitting Pretty's channel. You were on a live stream there, and that's where I found out that you were from Uruguay. And so I decided to reach out to you because like I told you, I don't know any people from Uruguay in my real life. I've never met one. And to be honest, I don't know much about Uruguay in general. Well, that I do know is I have a playlist on my channel called Music of the Americas, and someone has suggested to me that I do a video on candombe. Do you know what candombe
Okay.
is? Yeah,
Yeah.
so like an Afro Uruguayan style of music. So I did a video on that. So I do know that about
Yeah.
Uruguay.
There you go.
Yeah, so but besides that, I really don't know anything.
Yeah.
So in this video, to everyone listening, I'm basically going to be asking Andres questions about his background and his experience being an immigrant from Uruguay to the United States. So, what can you tell us, or can you tell us a little bit about Uruguay? Like, what are some of the main aspects that people should know when it comes to either you guys' history or your culture, or like what are some of the main things that you love about Uruguayan culture? Just for any facts for us that don't really know much about your country.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I moved here when I was like 13 or so.
Hmm.
So, for what I remember and everything, and what I know so far is we actually had natives back in the days.
Uh-huh.
But Europeans like Spaniards and Portuguese they killed them all because it wasn't like a huge tribe. Like, Uruguay is not that big, but that whole area, it was like different type of tribes, I guess.
Hmm.
And so that tribe, which would be Uruguay now, was kind of small. And so, yeah, it was wiped out by Europeans. And then that's why, you see Brazil, which is, it was taken over by Portuguese, and then Uruguay had, um, actually, it was a little bit bigger. I
Okay.
can't remember how far into Brazil, and then
Okay.
eventually, like, it became smaller. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, we have a lot of European descendants,
Yeah.
a lot of Italians, a lot of Germans, a lot of people that actually um, escape World War II, and
Mm.
and all that. So
Hmm.
they for some reason they just went to that area,
Okay.
Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, like
Yeah.
really south for some
Yeah.
reason. Um, and then as far as food and stuff, obviously we're really influenced by Europeans.
Yes.
We eat a lot of meat, that's for sure.
Okay.
We're actually one of the main countries that actually export red meat.
Okay.
And that's yeah, we were into wine. We have
Hmm.
wineries and things like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, a lot of country. I'm from the city, which is like really, really south of the country. But
Okay.
then you have, like, if you keep going north, on your way to go, like, while you're going north, it's like country and stuff. So,
Hmm. Okay.
um, yeah. But we have beautiful beaches. We have a lot of tourists as well.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
Okay. So you guys are, well, I feel like that whole region of South America, like the kind of the more south you go, you see that the European influences, I guess, become less Spanish. Could you say that? And
Mhm.
that's where you start to see that those areas had a lot of Germans, a lot of Italians, and whoever else.
Hmm.
So would you say that a lot of y'all's culture came from, or as far as like the European inputs in y'all's cultures, it's less Spanish and more other European
Hmm.
influences?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. We're a melting pot pretty much. We
Yeah.
have Portuguese. We have, which is really kind of rare to see in other parts of Latin America.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have everything. Like, part of my family actually, I have a side of my family which they come from Russians or Poland. all that
Oh,
area. So
interesting. Okay.
yeah, you'll see a lot of people, a lot of Jewish
Okay.
as well.
Okay. Interesting. And I remember when I was talking to you briefly, you said that you feel like Uruguay is kind of overshadowed by some of the other countries in that region. And
Yeah, because it's
uh,
small, so
yeah.
it's kind of hard to hear from Uruguay, and it doesn't help the fact that well, we're a third world country, right? And
Yeah.
so, second of all, the Uruguayan people are overall they're more reserved. They're more
Mm.
kept to themselves, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think that's pretty much it. So you have big
Yeah.
countries like Brazil, Argentina, and they pretty
Yeah.
much run, South America. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know for me, when I think of South America, I definitely think of Brazil, I think of Colombia, I think of
yeah.
Argentina. And then it's like, oh yeah, there's Paraguay and Uruguay. And there's kind of like the
Mhm.
random, not to be, hope that's not offensive,
Right.
but it like
No,
sometimes
yeah.
you think of it, oh, like there are other countries there too. You just never really think
No, I
about them.
get you. I get you because I used to be the same way when I was growing up in Uruguay.
Mm-hmm.
Watching soccer and everything. I used to only worry about South America. Like
Yeah.
me personally, I loved learning about other countries and stuff. I was really into that.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, the conversation stuff, you hear things from South America only, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, that makes sense though. Like, depending on where in Latin America you are, you're understanding that this is you're into, you're going to be more in tune with the people and the other countries in that area. Like, for
exactly,
me, being Dominican, of course, I'm more familiar with like Puerto Ricans or Cubans and their culture
exactly.
or what's
And
going
for
on in
me,
that
see,
region.
for me, I used to think of like we know Cuba, of course, right? So
Yeah.
that's what's really popular to us.
Mm-hmm.
Puerto Rico is really popular to us, but
Mm-hmm.
Dominican Republic, and like and all those like Haiti and things like that, like
Mm-hmm.
we knew about them, but it wasn't like popular to us.
Yeah.
So I get
Yeah.
what you're
But,
saying.
but you mentioned that there's Dominicans in Uruguay.
hmm Yeah,
I had
yeah.
no
So
idea.
yeah, recently we had I was watching I can't remember what it was. It's kind of like a documentary, and yeah, they were showing there was like a neighborhood type of you know full of the like Dominicans and stuff, and like and you can tell too because they have like more barbershops now, and you can tell like you can tell like they're actually good, like good
Yeah.
haircuts, good fade
Yeah.
and things like that, like you can
Yeah.
tell. And so
Hmm.
that whole style is coming up, so I think it's
Oh,
pretty cool. It was pretty
okay.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. If there's one thing Dominicans know, men or women, is hair. So, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's funny. Okay.
Just the
So,
whole vibe, I think, is cool.
yeah, I know. Yeah, we definitely got a different swag to us. Yes, yes. So I'm sure they stand out when they're down there.
Yeah.
Especially you said Uruguayans are more reserved and stuff, and most Dominicans are like the opposite.
Yeah, that was part of the video, I guess, the documentary. Like, I guess some of the neighborhoods. Yeah, because you have a lot of old people in Uruguay too. That's the problem. Like
Mm,
overall, the population,
okay.
so and so yeah, so Dominicans, with their music and everything, and
Yeah.
so and then you got old people right there. So I don't know. I think there
Yeah.
was some sort of like a problem there, but
Oh, I
it's just part
bet.
of the story.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yes, yes. I can imagine. So you said you came to the United States at 13?
yeah, about 13,
Okay.
13,
So
I would
what
say.
were like some of the biggest like culture shocks or what stood out to you the most transitioning from Uruguay to the United States? And you're in Florida, right? Did
No,
you
I'm
say
in
you're in
Utah.
Florida?
I'm in
Are
Utah.
you
I'm
are you
I'm moving
really?
to Florida. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just remember you mentioning
hmm
something about Florida and wow, Utah, that's so random.
Yeah, West Coast. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So what was like the biggest differences that you experienced between coming from your home country to here, be it culturally, the way the US looks, like how was that for you?
Culture shock. Yeah, I mean, well, besides the snow and all that,
It doesn't
um,
snow in Uruguay?
no, no, we don't have snow.
Oh, okay.
Um, it gets cold, but we don't have snow.
Okay.
So that was cool at first, but then like the second year, I was already just okay. I'm
You was
done.
over
Yeah.
it.
So
Yeah.
I think it's pretty gloomy and stuff. Like 8 months out of the year, and So, but yeah, besides all that, as far as like like culture shock, I think it was, I remember, I'm never gonna forget this, when I went to school the first day on lunch, and I noticed you had black people sitting at one table, Latin people. At that time, I didn't know what it like Latin people, right? But they're like brown and like more Hispanic and stuff.
Yeah.
And then just like whites and then Asians, right? And so I'm
Mm.
just like, what is this? Why
So
is
everybody
everybody
was very
like,
segregated.
yeah? And I was like, what is this?
Mm.
This is like jail or something, you know?
Oh wow.
Like what is this? You know, like
Uh-huh.
that. I remember I was so shocked to see that. So shocked to see
Wow.
that. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, so you obviously look very white. So
Mhm.
which group did you migrate towards? Did you end up fitting in just with other Hispanic kids, or did the white kids kind of accept you more?
No, and so that's another problem for me, right? So I never had, I can relate a lot to like a lot of like black, half Asians, or half white,
Mm.
half black, right? Like light skin or whatever, right?
Hmm.
Because sometimes you're not really completely 100% from one group,
Uh-huh.
because you're not really accepted 100% from each
Mm.
group, right? Because
Uh-huh.
you're not really white, you're Hispanic, right?
Yeah.
And then
Uh-huh.
you're not really Hispanic. I mean, you are, but like at that time, like it was different, you know. It was like, I don't know, it was a little bit more like brown people, you know, like
Mm.
it wasn't as popular as now. Like now you got singers, you got, soap operas, you got movies, you got like there's more variety in the world, being able to see it. But as before,
Yeah.
it was a little bit more, if you wanted to be Hispanic or whatever, you had to play like in a movie. It had to be somebody brown, right?
Mm.
So, so yeah, it
So,
was.
okay. So that's interesting. So you kind of experience, I guess, the opposite of what some Black Latinos experience, where it's like you're Hispanic, but you're not always completely accepted because you don't fit the brown mestizo Hispanic, but
Right,
then yeah, but at the same time you're not like Black American. So you kind
exactly,
of felt like you weren't entirely accepted as your typical brown Latino, but at the same time you're not white American, so you couldn't fit in
exactly,
that group as well.
exactly. And it doesn't help my accent either, right? When I speak Spanish, my
Yeah.
accent is different. So I started hanging out. Like, so at first, to answer your question, I started hanging out with a couple Mexican guys,
Okay.
which I'm still friends with one of them still.
Okay.
But yeah, and I didn't understand anything, right? And they didn't really understand me either. And I was like, my first
Yeah.
time just kind of being exposed to like people talking from another country and stuff. And
Hmm.
yeah, it was rough, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it
bet.
was. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. So besides Mexicans, would you say there's any other Latin groups that you've become kind of familiar with or been exposed to? Or is it mainly
Um,
Mexicans out there?
Colombians, me
Okay.
personally, right? But it's mainly Mexicans. It's just that
Hmm.
the group, but like I used to go out a lot, and I used to meet a lot of people, and I met Dominicans and stuff, and so I became friends with everybody. But like I started hanging out with a lot of Colombians for a while, and then once I learned English, to be honest, I started hanging out with like Russians. I had a group of Russian
Mm.
friends. I had, Arabics, um, because they were kind of like me, right? Like they didn't really fit in anywhere either, right? Because
Mm.
like there is not a lot of Arabics. It's just Arabics, right?
Yeah.
But if you didn't grow up in Iraq or all those areas, you grew up here, you kind of like you're not really accepted either, right? Because you look Arabic.
Hmm.
So that's the people I used to hang out with, pretty much.
Okay. Okay, so it sounds like you've kind of came up very surrounded by multi-ethnic type of people. You didn't really limit yourself to
Oh
just
yeah,
one group.
no,
Mm.
no, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I dated Asian women. Like I always, that's why it will be hard for me to go back to Uruguay, because if we were talking about this with one of my friends, it feels the same. He feels the same way. It's like when it's so beautiful just to being able to interact with different cultures, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like completely like different cultures, like all over the world, not
Yeah.
just one or two, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the beauty of being here, I guess. So
Yeah. No, for sure. And I mean, I think that is one privilege, I guess you could even call it, that we do have here in the United States that, well, depending where you live too, because some areas are a bit more homogenous, but if when you
hmm
grow up in areas that are more diverse, you are able to connect and see people from different cultures and different backgrounds and learn from their
hmm
cultures. And I feel like that kind of helps mold you as a person to be more cultured in that sense of not just
hmm
being restricted just to your
more
one
educated.
group. Yes, more
Yeah.
educated as well. Yeah, so
Uh,
that's very cool that you were able to experience that. When I think of Utah, I don't know, I just think it's a bunch of white people, but I
oh
guess
yeah,
it's
there
more
is.
that.
No,
Okay,
no,
okay.
there is. Don't get me wrong. It is like 90%, not 90%, but like the big majority is white people, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, I met these people going to school, and then I kept in touch with them, right? We
Mm-hmm.
really became friends. So
Yeah.
that's how, but now, like, now I don't even talk to a lot of people. So it's like,
Mm.
but growing up, that's what it was. The reason why I was able to meet them is because school. And then I met their friends, and then, you start hanging out with them after school, and then you become friends from another friend. And
Yeah.
so, but the typical person, I would say here, they will meet either a bunch of white people or some have like black friends or Mexicans. That's
Gotcha.
the that's a majority,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. And so I remember when you were on Sid's channel, you mentioned dating black women or a black
Oh yeah.
woman, an African woman.
Yeah.
So we talked about it a bit on there, but since obviously everybody
hmm
that's watching here didn't see that stream. So when it comes to the subject of race, I don't talk with a whole bunch of like very white Latinos. So I it's interesting and I try to get y'all's perspective. So what is your perspective when it comes to the whole issue of race and I guess we can get to the dating part in a bit because that's another subject that we talk a lot about and I guess some Latinos feel like there isn't so much of a divide between white Latinos and black Latinos, but other people feel that it is. But sometimes we
Yeah.
just kind of like to gloss over it or not talk about it. So, what is your opinion on that? Like, do you feel like most black and white Latinos can get along, or I don't know, like, what's your experience with that?
The As far as like black, just black African Americans and
No,
Latinos.
no, like black Latinos and white Latinos.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I think we have so much in common. And I feel like because we're so used to this mentality, how that I noticed, right, when I came to the States, right, where everybody's kind of segregated a little bit,
Hmm.
especially now. Um, it's like you automatically, or people automatically think that, oh, okay, well, he's white, or oh, he's black or whatever, right?
Hmm.
But I feel like you can learn so much, like relate so much, I should say, just because, again, going back to what we were saying, I don't know, like maybe you guys feel the same, right? Like you're Latino, but you're black, right? So
Hmm.
it's like, and if you don't know English, what do like you still gotta experience what we experience, right?
Hmm.
Like learning English and
Yeah.
not knowing English and having to trying to communicate with people and all that. So experience racism, um, I experienced it as well even from Latin people. So
Hmm.
we can relate so on so many levels, but
Hmm.
I think we're not aware of of that, right? Just because
Hmm.
of the color of our skin.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do feel like sometimes we do put up a barrier amongst ourselves because I don't know, we just grow up being, I don't know, socialized maybe in a way to focus so much on color and race
hmm
that it's like we block ourselves from either interacting with, other Latinos based on their color. And I admit, I've been guilty of that. Like,
Right.
if I was to just meet you in real life, I might not even approach you. I mean, I probably would thought you're white American, honestly. But even if I
Yeah.
knew you were from Uruguay, I don't know, I might not approach you. Or I might think maybe you wouldn't want to interact with me because, I'm morena, like we have these
Right.
notions in our head already
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
just stops us from, like I said, interacting with each other.
Yeah.
And, and I think also as Latinos, we think a lot on like the historical aspects of what happened, so we assume those attitudes still continue. Not
Oh
saying
yeah,
that they
that's
don't,
another thing.
because there
Hmm.
are still Latinos that are racist or whatever, like that
Oh
definitely
yeah.
still exists. But I do feel like a lot of us are moving away from those attitudes and we are more open-minded.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, especially now. Especially now. I
yeah.
think like overall in the world, overall, I think we've seen Latin people and everybody can pitch in on this. I'm just assuming, I guess, but I shouldn't assume, but I feel like overall in comparison in other parts of the world, like there's more mixture and there is racism, right, in Latin
Mm-hmm.
America,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a little bit less than other regions in
I agree.
comparison to other cultures and stuff, like
Yeah.
because like I said, I was shocked, and I know in your way there is racism too, um but I grew up, kind of naive, I guess. My environment was
Mm.
kind of naive because I had friends from in the neighborhood and school and everything. So my parents obviously never were never racist or anything. So we never really even brought up color.
Mm.
So, but I think it was more my environment
Yeah.
overall. Um, I don't know. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal opinion, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I understand. I mean, obviously I didn't grow up in DR. I grew up here, but my parents didn't focus a whole lot on race or color either. That was something I just kind of learned just living here.
Right.
And I don't know, I guess through experiences in school or whatever, you know.
You know what I
Um,
was gonna touch on before we
mhm.
move forward?
Yeah.
You brought up when you said that sometimes. Oh, okay. So the black Latinos and white Latinos, right?
Hmm.
So I remember growing up seeing a lot of people. I ended up hanging out with a lot of like Black Americans, or like remember I told you, like different
Yeah.
groups. But I used to see a lot of like Latin people, if they were white, they will hang out with white Americans, right? And they will learn
Hmm.
English, and they will just even learn the English to a point where they didn't even have an accent, right? Because they're just
Mm.
hanging out with white, and they just speak like white, like
Yeah.
Americans, right?
Yeah.
And then when I went to New York and stuff, I saw the same thing, but the other way around, right? With
Yeah.
like black Latinos, which I had no idea they were black Latinos until they actually said, "Oh yeah, no, my parents are
Oh.
from the DR, or they're Puerto
Uh-huh.
Ricans," or you're just like, "Oh, so you speak Spanish?" Like, oh, okay, but they
Yeah.
just they just hung out with just African Americans, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's just different colors, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm assuming there's not a lot of like black people in Uruguay as far as like actual black Uruguayans.
Yeah, actually, so we have so you have Argentina and Chile. Overall, they don't have a lot of black, like Afro descendants. If
Hmm.
anything, I don't know if they have anything.
Hmm.
I'm sure they do, but it's rare.
Hmm.
Uruguay, you do have, but remember we're small, so
Yeah.
they're not gonna be. You're not gonna be walking around and see a lot of black people. You'll see some.
Yeah.
Overall, yeah, it's more white, and yeah, and then you have Brazil right next to us, which you have a lot more mixture as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
know Brazil has like the largest black population outside of Africa. So I know there's
Hmm.
definitely a lot of black people in Brazil.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Hmm.
but no, you do have a black population. Your way is just not predominant.
Yeah. Okay. So the population in Uruguay, it's more white and not mestizo. Because you said that the
Um,
native population for the most part was kind of wiped out. So
Yeah, so no, it's yeah, no, you do have like the really like what they call light skin with the green eyes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But then you do have, so I guess for what I know, for what I asked my ex's um, mother-in-law, I guess, she told me that they look like they come from Western Africa, the descendants,
Mm.
on the region in Uruguay.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know. That's what, because they're black, but in the Western Africa, they're a little bit lighter. They're more like African Americans type. They're
Okay.
not
Okay.
super dark.
Uh-huh.
Um, so yeah, that's the type of African American, I guess, or African Uruguayan that you'll see, or you have a little more variety within the blacks as well. So,
Okay. I mean, I'm sure over the years there's some admixture,
oh yeah, yeah, like
so
yeah,
they're not gonna look straight up West African.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So okay, so now going back to the dating. So when you dating an African girl, did anyone feel any type of way about that, or was anyone surprised that you were dating a black woman? Like, how
no,
what was your experience with that?
no. As far as my environment, like my
Yeah, or
my
just like
family,
your family,
friends,
yeah.
no, they never, because they all know me, so they know I hang out with everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't really rare for them. And my previous um, girlfriend was she was born here, but she was her parents were Filipino, so
Mm.
she looked Filipino.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, yeah, they weren't shocked at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's good that at least you came up in a more open-minded environment,
Hmm.
because unfortunately there are some Latinos that don't grow up like that, and they do grow up with parents or grandparents that are a lot more closed-minded and
I had
racist
to
or
learn that.
colorist.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, I didn't know. I wasn't aware of that. I was really naive of that
Mm,
existed within the Latino community.
wow.
Because we always complain about, how like Americans, oh, like all the races and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
and then you see those type of things, and you just like when I learned that, I was like, oh, wait a minute, oh, okay,
Mm, yeah.
so
Right. Yeah, no, I had to learn about some of that as well. It's like I didn't really experience seeing that within my own family, but now it definitely exists. But like I said,
yeah,
that's good that you were able to come up like that and more open minded.
yeah,
Yeah. Which country in Africa again did you say you're? Is she a girlfriend or ex girlfriend?
ex-girlfriend,
Okay, where's
ex
she from again?
ex-fiance.
Oh, okay.
Um, so she was born in Sudan, and then they went to
Sudanese.
Egypt, and then she came here when she was like 3, I think.
Okay. Okay, I actually had quite a few Sudanese friends growing up. Yeah, so I'm kind of familiar
Yeah,
with them and their culture a little bit.
yeah, they're cool, cool
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay. So you said that you're going to Uruguay or you're planning to go in December.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so what are some of the things that you're looking forward to as far as your trip, or like what are you gonna do any sightseeing down there, or what are you looking forward
Oh
to?
yeah. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to actually go explore the country actually,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been there, but it was just like 2 weeks, and you visit the family, and you're kind of like you want to go to certain places. You don't have much time, but this time I'm gonna go probably like 3 months.
Oh wow, you're
And
staying for a long time.
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
go there because I actually want to go out just to different like it'll be like states, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I want to actually explore certain areas, and I want to explore the country, and I want to explore like different, more like the center of Uruguay, which I
Okay.
never had the chance to be. There's a lot of places I haven't been in Uruguay, so
Mhm. How long
I'm
is the
excited.
flight to get there?
It depends. So you can get flights anywhere from like 24 hours, 25 hours to like
Oh my gosh.
17 hours, depending on which type of flight you buy. But yeah, I think that the
Wow.
soonest you can get there is about like 17 hours. I saw the other day.
Dang, and I complained about the 4.5 hours it takes to get to DR. Oh my
I know
gosh.
you guys got it easy. It's like flying to
Dang.
another state.
Wow, that is a long time. Wow.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. Is there any particular foods you're looking forward to eating while down there?
Um, yeah,
Mm.
meat, meat,
Mm-hmm.
like just like the grill. We grill a lot. It's like
Okay.
it's like we don't put barbecue, right? But we still grill like a lot of meat. We season it different. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if people ever been to like those Brazilian restaurants they have here in
Yeah.
America,
Yeah, I
we
have
eat that
actually.
type of meat. That same type of meat we
Ah.
eat, like more juicy, obviously, because it's in Uruguay. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna get some. But
Yeah.
there's a lot more stuff. But like me personally, I want to eat that type of meat.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Do you guys eat plátano at all down there?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
it's
you
just
do?
not, but like not the ones that I think you're talking about. Like we eat regular bananas and stuff. It's not
Okay.
like the fancy one you guys I think you're talking about.
Well, we eat a lot of green plantain. We're like, you know.
Yeah, see, to us that's kind of like not fancy, right? But it's like, oh wow, okay, it's not like an everyday fruit or
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. And you mentioned that some Uruguayans also speak Portuguese, the ones near the
Mhm.
Brazilian border?
Yeah, so near to Brazil, they either speak Portuguese or some people actually speak like what we call Portuñol, which is
Mm,
like a mixture of Portuguese and Spanish, our Spanish.
mm, okay.
Um, yeah, actually, because we don't really have a border. We don't really like we do, but we don't. Like I have a picture where there's a Uruguayan flag and then the Brazilian flag right next to each other. It's literally
Mm-hmm.
you just cross the street, you're in Brazil, right? And then you just go
Oh,
shopping, whatever, and then you
uh-huh.
just cross the street, and then you're in Uruguay, right? So
Oh,
there's no
interesting.
cops or TSA or whatever, right? So you just walk in.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah,
What would you say is the most popular style of music from Uruguay?
from Uruguay. Okay, so we got tango,
Yeah.
really, but that's more like in the south of Uruguay, right? That's like a more like a city thing.
Okay.
Um, and then candombe, which is like carnival and stuff like that. Um, and then what else? Our cumbia is different. Our cumbia is like salsa a little
Mm,
bit.
okay.
It's not like the typical cumbia, because we
Okay.
use drums and stuff,
Yeah.
um, trumpets and all that. So,
Uh-huh.
and then that's, man, I don't know if I'm forgetting anything else like that.
Yeah. Is there any musical genres from other Latin countries that are very popular in Uruguay?
Right now, to be honest, I don't know. I think last time I went was a couple years ago. It was reggaeton, obviously, right?
Mm, mm-hmm.
You listen to a lot of like house music, like Calvin
Oh,
Harris, that type of style.
okay.
Um, what else? What else? That's about it. And then rock, but it's not like crazy rock. It's more like have you ever heard like Red Hot Chili Peppers and
Yeah.
like that type of style?
Okay.
Like more chill rock. You know.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um,
Not no heavy metal, nothing like that.
no, yeah, you do have people, right? But like overall, yeah, it's not common.
Okay.
So
Okay. The people down there ever listen to like merengue or bachata or anything like that?
they do like now. I'm sure it got more popular, just like reggaeton, right? Bachata
Yeah.
I know is popular now.
Yeah.
Um, so and hopefully it becomes more popular in Uruguay now that
Mhm.
you know got a little
Yeah.
more Dominicans and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I think now it's a little more variety because
Hmm.
we more genres and stuff. Like even the new trap music and all that. You hear that a lot now over there
Mm.
too. So
Okay. Cool, cool. Are there any other countries in Latin America you'd like to visit, or have you visited any other countries?
yeah, well, I would like to go to a few. Actually, DR is one that I want to go really bad.
Mm.
Um, I want to go to PR. I want to
Yeah,
go
me too.
to Yeah, I want to go to Cuba really bad. Like that's actually on the
Mm.
top of my list. If I want to
Okay.
like Latin countries, I want to go to Cuba really,
Yeah.
really bad, really bad. Like I always wanted to go to Cuba. I don't know why, you know.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, but overall, as far as like been to countries, yeah, I went to Chile, been to Argentina, I've been to Brazil,
Okay.
um, been to Mexico, obviously, it's right
Okay.
here, and then yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, the only other country I've been to besides DR is Panama. I went there
Okay,
2017. Yeah. So that was
I
cool. I
just
was
took
only
a
there for like
connecting flight from there.
oh really?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I did go to Panama, so that was interesting. Panama City itself is very modern looking. I
Is
feel like I
it?
was like in a US city. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Because
very
I
nice.
think I saw pictures, but I couldn't remember if it was actually Panama.
Okay, yeah. I
Mm.
was surprised. I felt like I was in like downtown DC or something. Like it's very
Wow,
very nice. Yeah. So that was
nice.
cool.
They have good beaches over there too?
In Panama?
Yeah.
To be honest,
Or
I didn't even get to go to the beach. I was
no?
kind of
Okay.
bummed out about that, but I'm assuming they do because I mean they have it's coastal line on both sides, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they
Yeah, it's
have a lot of
probably
nice
like really
beaches
good.
there. Mhm. Yeah, but yeah, like you said, I definitely would like to visit Puerto Rico, Cuba.
Hmm.
Um, I've thought about Colombia, even though I know some people are afraid to go to Colombia, but
Really?
I
I think Colombia would be nice to go. I think
yeah,
people are so
mhm,
beautiful over there too. Like they're so happy and yeah.
yeah, hmm yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
So
everywhere. It's like going to Mexico. People are scared to go to Mexico. I'm like,
yeah, because you
dude, I
always
go to
hear about
Mexico all the
the
time.
cartels and this and that. You think it's just
Right.
just
But it's like
robbery and
Americans, right?
crime.
Americans think that about us. Like, oh man,
Yeah.
you guys have like, it's like, yeah, they're dangerous over there, right?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, it's dangerous, but it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Um, okay, so I don't know if you saw or knew, I just did a live stream a couple of nights ago about like the Latin community. I guess you missed it, but I'm gonna do a part two, so you should definitely join in on that. So that'll probably be next
Sure.
weekend. So stay tuned for
Yeah, let me
that.
know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So that was all the questions I had for you. So
Cool.
thank you again for joining me and doing this interview with me. You know, it was a pleasure having you on here. And if anybody wants to follow on this on Instagram, I'll leave that. You know, I'll leave the name to his page. So once again, thank you. And if anybody has any questions for Andres, leave them in the comments down below. All right. Okay. So thank you, and I'll check everyone later.
All right.
Bye.